The DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, and police in Colorado announce a record-breaking fentanyl bust.
The latest fentanyl bust in Colorado resulted in the largest ever seizure of the drug in the state's history.
Investigators say someone legally bought the storage unit in an auction. When they discovered what was inside, they immediately contacted the Douglas County Sheriff's Office.
DEA have executed one of the biggest drug raid in Colorado history tied to violent Sinaloa Cartel and have just uncovered the largest fentanyl seizure in history. In an operation now known as Operation Mountain Safe, agents with the DEA Rocky Mountain Field Division, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and the Douglas County Sheriff's Office executed a high-risk raid at a storage facility in Highlands Ranch, a quiet suburb just south of Denver. What they found inside stunned even veteran agents. 1.7 million counterfeit fentanyl pills packed in vacuum-sealed boxes, along with 12 kilograms of fentanyl powder and 2.5 pounds of methamphetamine.
It is also indicative that the Mexican cartels continue to traffic significant quantities of fentanyl to Colorado, and the seizure has been tied to active DEA investigations involving federal, state, and local partners touching 6 different states as well as Mexico, targeting the Sinaloa Cartel.
This is the largest seizure in our state history. The DEA says it is the 6th largest ever in the United States. And what's even crazier is that someone bought a unit here in Highlands Ranch at the storage unit place on auction, only to open it up and find hundreds of pounds of fentanyl.
Officials confirmed the stash was large enough to kill nearly every resident in the state. The operation began with an unlikely lead. A private citizen who had legally purchased a storage locker at auction, only to discover boxes filled with blue M30 tablets and sealed packages of white powder. Recognizing the danger, the buyer contacted the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, which immediately locked down the facility and called in the DEA. Within hours, federal command rolled out a containment perimeter as tactical units arrived in unmarked vehicles. Agents swept the area, tested the substances on site, and quickly realized they were looking at one of the largest fentanyl caches ever found in the United States. It started as a local call, one agent said, and turned into a national case before the first sunrise. Inside the locker, investigators found what they later described as a miniature cartel warehouse. Wooden crates labeled in Spanish, industrial bag sealers, chemical residue, and several digital scales coated in fentanyl powder. Hidden under tarps were 12 kilograms of raw fentanyl, ready for pressing into pills designed to mimic prescription oxycodone. The DEA says the operation's setup mirrored professional cartel logistics. Bulk narcotics hidden in commercial storage until local distributors retrieved shipments for street-level sales. Federal intelligence linked the site to a larger interstate pipeline stretching from Arizona through Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming, a corridor now under investigation by DEA's Western Region Task Force. The registered owner of the storage unit, currently in federal custody on unrelated trafficking charges, is believed to be part of a Sinaloa Cartel distribution cell operating across the Rockies. Investigators say the Highlands Ranch stash was one of several storage facilities used to conceal fentanyl loads entering from Mexico. The cartel, known for its use of decentralized microcells, often places narcotics in rental properties or unpaid storage units to minimize loss when seizures occur. In this case, the missed storage payment became the cartel's undoing. Forensic teams spent 2 days cataloging evidence, recovering packaging materials, counterfeit pill molds, encrypted burner phones, and coded ledgers showing shipments valued in the millions. Officials estimated the total street value of the narcotics exceeded $20 million, making it one of the 6 largest fentanyl pill seizures in U.S. history. Every one of these pills was a potential death sentence, said DEA Special Agent David Oleski. This wasn't a local dealer's stash. This was a regional distribution hub sitting in a suburban storage facility. Agents say the raid marks a turning point in Colorado's fight against synthetic opioids. For years, cartel supply chains avoided direct storage within populated suburbs, preferring remote hideouts in industrial warehouses. Now the shift has reached residential areas. It's not coming, Oleski added. It's here. Federal intelligence now confirms that the Highlands Ranch seizure is directly tied to the Sinaloa Cartel, the same transnational syndicate long regarded as the largest narcotics empire on Earth. Analysts from the DEA Rocky Mountain Field Division and the Department of Homeland Security's National Drug Intelligence Center identified matching chemical signatures and pill press imprints found in prior raids across Arizona, California, and New Mexico, all traced back to the Sinaloa network. These findings prove the Colorado stash wasn't an isolated cache. It was part of a larger, regional logistics chain built to move industrial-scale fentanyl across state lines under suburban cover. For decades, Colorado's Rocky Mountain corridor has been a through route for cocaine and meth. Now it's become a staging zone for synthetic opioids, the deadliest phase yet of the cartel's U.S. operation. Agents estimate that the 12 kilograms of fentanyl powder recovered alongside the 1.7 million pressed tablets could have produced as many as 6 million additional counterfeit pills, each one potentially lethal. Every M30 tablet seized was a precision-engineered replica of prescription oxycodone, pressed with cartel-grade machinery to deceive users and first responders alike. This wasn't sloppy street chemistry, one DEA chemist said. These were clean, uniform, and indistinguishable from real pharmaceuticals. The deadly efficiency of the process is what makes fentanyl the cartel's perfect weapon. Cheap to make, easy to ship, and devastating to distribute. Each kilogram seized prevents thousands of fatal overdoses, yet officials warn it represents only a fraction of what continues to flow north daily. The Sinaloa Cartel's operational shift is clear. With much of its leadership fractured and divided between rival factions, production has become decentralized. Smaller labs scattered across Sonora and Sinaloa, churning out synthetic opioids using precursor chemicals sourced from Asia. These labs export semi-finished powder to the U.S., where local distribution cells mix, press, and package the drugs. Once sealed and branded, shipments are stored in ordinary spaces, suburban garages, RVS, or rented storage lockers like the one in Highlands Ranch. Officials call this strategy logistical camouflage. By blending high-level trafficking with low-visibility locations, the cartel avoids major interdictions while embedding itself into the most unsuspecting communities in America. The Highlands Ranch bust is a warning that those communities are no longer immune. Douglas County, known for its affluence and safety, now finds itself at the center of a national drug war that has crept far beyond the border. These criminals count on the illusion of security, said the sheriff. They pick neighborhoods where no one suspects anything. But the truth is, they're here, and this discovery proves it. Residents who once viewed fentanyl as a distant issue are now grappling with the reality that a single missed rent payment could uncover a deadly stockpile just a few doors away. Local officials credit the auction buyer for quick action, saying the call likely prevented a catastrophic distribution event across the state. The community's shock mirrors a larger national concern: how deeply the Sinaloa Cartel has penetrated suburban America. Gone are the days of isolated smuggling routes and desert crossings. Today's cartel presence hides behind clean storefronts, suburban basements, and storage facilities filled with silent poison. The Highlands Ranch seizure, officials say, isn't just a record-breaking bust. It's a wake-up call that no region, no matter how safe or far from the border, is off-limits anymore. The fallout from Operation Mountain Safe reached Washington within hours. Inside the DEA Rocky Mountain Field Division's Denver command, agents called it a historic interdiction, the kind that rewrites narcotics enforcement playbooks. Special Agent in Charge David Oleski briefed reporters flanked by towers of evidence, steel bins of seized pills, vacuum-sealed fentanyl bricks, and stacked ledgers coated in residue. "This is the new face of the drug war," Oleski said flatly. "It's not border tunnels or cartel convoys. It's suburban storage lockers hiding enough poison to wipe out a state." Behind him stood representatives from CBI, Homeland Security Investigations, and Douglas County Sheriff Darren Weekly, each underscoring that the discovery wasn't luck, it was coordination. Weeks of data sharing under Operation Take Back America, the nationwide anti-cartel initiative had helped triangulate chemical shipments, shell companies, and storage rentals, and finally led agents to a steel-framed door in Highlands Ranch. "This is what intelligence fusion looks like when it works," one official said. "We didn't stumble onto it. We built the case layer by layer until there was nowhere left to hide." At the state level, Governor Jared Polis called the bust a defining moment in Colorado's fight against synthetic opioids. He praised the citizen who reported the find, crediting their action with saving thousands of lives. Polis vowed continued support for joint task forces, saying fentanyl had no borders and no politics. Still, the discovery reignited debate inside the state capitol over rising overdose numbers and lenient sentencing laws. Lawmakers from both parties called for harsher penalties on fentanyl possession and expanded funding for interdiction units. Behind the cameras, federal prosecutors prepared to file asset forfeiture motions against the storage unit's owner, tracing deposits through dummy companies in Arizona and New Mexico. Financial fingerprints consistent with Sinaloa Cartel front entities. CBI Director Armando Saldate added that the cartel's ability to exploit ordinary American infrastructure was a direct challenge to sovereignty, noting that even modest seizures now carry global consequences. "We're not dealing with street pushers," Saldate said. "We're dismantling international supply chains built on murder." As federal trucks hauled the last of the narcotics away, agents kept combing through storage rows with hazmat gear and portable scanners, fearing cross-contamination. Neighbors watched from behind police tape, stunned that a quiet complex near a daycare could hide such danger. Parents arrived later that day to pick up children from schools less than a mile away, escorted past barricades and television crews. Sheriff Weekly told residents their community was safe, but warned that this won't be the last time a cartel tries to blend into Colorado. Inside DEA headquarters, analysts flagged 4 additional storage facilities for immediate inspection, all rented under aliases connected to the same network. Homeland Security sources confirmed that new warrants were already approved in 3 states, with task forces moving to intercept any remaining shipments linked to the Highlands Ranch supply line. By nightfall, the DEA issued its official statement: 1.7 million pills seized, 12 kilograms of fentanyl powder, $20 million in street value, 0 casualties. Each number represents a life not lost, but agents know the victory is temporary. Cartels will rebuild, routes will shift. Still, the raid sends an unmistakable message to every trafficker working the Rocky Mountain corridor: no neighborhood is safe for business. This was their stronghold, Oleski said quietly, looking over the confiscated crates. But they chose the wrong mountain. He paused, then added the line that now circulates through federal briefing rooms from Denver to Washington. The Sinaloa Cartel built its empire on death. This time, we took their foundation out from under them.